Meet Andrew. Andrew is a millennial, born in 1995. He was an imaginative child when he was growing up in the Midwest and was gifted in his own ways, as we all are. Andrew loved to take care of the cows and horses on his family's farm, and as he entered grade school, he also took a shine to playing the drums in the school band. Andrew was inspired by famous drummers like Ringo Starr and Chad Smith. He loved having little jam sessions in the band room with his buddies. Once he reached junior high, Andrew began to be taught that becoming a successful drummer was a long shot, a pipe dream. But Andrew didn't care to become a farmer like his father and grandfather. That didn't seem like a sure bet way to make a living either. In high school, Andrew was encouraged by his teachers to get a college degree and pick a safe major that made him hireable in the job market. Andrew listened to this advice. He put his music aside and set his sights on getting a useful degree in accounting and finance. After university, Andrew was hired by a hugely successful manufacturing firm whose products were made mostly of plastics, polymers, and other synthetic chemicals, some of which known to be toxic. This firm was a no holds bar, working in the old paradigm kind of business. Andrew was grateful to have a good paying job, and he spent the next few years crunching numbers and creating spreadsheets. He became known for his skill set around accounting. No one, not even his supervisors, who gave him his bi-yearly performance appraisals, ever asked him about other qualities and talents that he naturally possessed. As a result, Andrew became pigeonholed in his position, and his work became rote. After a while, he didn't have a passion for it and questioned whether if he ever did. He wasn't called upon to use many or any of his creative thinking skills, let alone any of the qualities based in feeling and emotion. His work was all about helping get product out the door as effectively and economically as possible, and he was good at it, but something in his heart didn't sit right. He knew that the products the company was producing were making their way into the nation's food supply and tainting the waterways. By the time Andrew was married and had children, 10 years later, around the age of 35, he was experiencing a deepening discord within himself. It was vague and unnamed, and Andrew wasn't really connecting his lack of fulfillment with his work life. By then, he was taking full advantage of the company's incentives to keep him on a management track, a generous compensation plan, travel reimbursement when he visited company sites, and the use of a fabulous fitness center on the work campus. But Andrew was too drained to work out after an exhausting and lackluster day in the office, and he had to get home anyways to run the kids to soccer and dance practice. The salary he earned never seemed to be enough. Buying his wife a new car and mortgaging a home in a fairly affluent neighborhood in the suburbs became the ways for Andrew to feel good about himself and what he was accomplishing. Sad to say that many evenings when Andrew returned home, he often vented his frustrations on his wife and children. This made him feel like he was a bad husband and father. He couldn't see through his guilt to the cause of his short fuse, the fact that his job wasn't fulfilling his soul's desire or his life purpose. It wasn't something he had time to sit around and ponder. And one day, Andrew ran into a friend from his hometown in the local supermarket. Andrew was happy to see George, and he sure looked vibrant and healthy. Andrew asked him, "What's your secret? You seem so upbeat and clear about your life." George began to share how he was part of a team of people from around the world who were bringing a new approach to food distribution that included privately owned, community based organic farms. George spoke proudly yet humbly about how this more equitable and healthier way to get food to families who needed it was also feeding him, a deep part of him. "I remember you were always rooting for the underdog in school, George," Andrew said. "Yeah, well, now I can do that on a large scale," he responded. "Let's grab a beer one of these days soon," Andrew encouraged. "Sure thing, bud," George agreed. Andrew and George did get together shortly thereafter, and they had a fascinating conversation about the purpose of work beyond taking care of their families and acquiring nice things. Andrew expressed his anxiety around how he seemed to be on a fast, moving career track and couldn't jump off, at least without getting seriously hurt financially. The place where I work isn't like that at all, George began to share. So let's jump to our story of employee Andrew in the future. Andrew worked alongside George for about 15 to 20 years, using his accounting and finance skills for a higher good, helping feed the world with nutritious food and not feeding the world's garbage dumps with non biodegradable products. In this quantum company, Andrew and his coworkers routinely engaged with the creation point and allowed that energy to permeate the collective culture. When Andrew was originally interviewed to be hired, he felt a synergistic benefit to all himself, the company, and the world. As part of his onboarding, Andrew was introduced to the rich creation point view of the company, and likewise, the company knew clearly not only his qualifications, but his aspirations. Since Andrew felt deeply connected to the company's purpose and how it serves humanity, he felt inspired and encouraged to share his own insights and ideas for furthering the company's success. He felt a kinship and deep trust and support with every person in the company, everyone from the CEO to the mail runner. He went to work each day, trusting that it would be joyful and fulfilling, and it was. Of course, there were challenges and not every moment went perfectly, but it was in those times that Andrew really felt loved and supported because the challenges were met with such support, with everyone striving to resolve the issue at hand together. This freedom expanded and supported Andrew's growth, which of course made him a happier, healthier, more engaged, and productive employee. The company still has a management structure in place, but all are supported and given the freedom for personal expansion. Whenever Andrew feels he might be better suited or more challenged to step into another role within the company, he has the freedom to pursue that direction, and all decisions around such a movement are transparent. Andrew may not always get the new position, but he fully understands why and what his next options are. In the end, he always knows that all the actions of the organization as a whole support each individual. He goes home every evening knowing he is a part of a collective that supports his growth, and he offers the same to everyone around him. It feels to Andrew like he is part of a family, and he in turn reflects this into his home life with his own family. He doesn't come home exhausted now. Actually, quite the opposite. Now Andrew comes home happy and engaged with life and eager to connect with his family. He feels that he is a good husband and dad and is making a difference in the world in every way. This in turn creates a family experience that has a firm foundation of trust and love. You see, that same work environment is reflected in his family life, where everyone, not just Andrew and his wife, but also his children, have the freedom to explore what they love and know their family has their back. His kids flourish in school and their friendships, and Andrew and his wife feel that life's challenges are met in a place of trust and collective love. The drama is gone here too. And even beyond their family and out into their community of friends, acquaintances, and extended family, all benefit from this expanded place of being. This is an abundant way to live. This is how we can truly live, in harmony with each other and perhaps more importantly, with ourselves. And here's another very cool thing that occurred for Andrew over the decades. When he was traveling to various places around the world in his role with George's company, he has had chances here and there to play percussion and make music with people from different cultures. Again, just all for fun. This is Andrew's entry point into his zone. He plays drums in his community band around the holidays and teaches youngsters at the local community center during the summers. He had the idea to start a local nonprofit to teach inner city kids music and use it as an outlet to share his vision of life. Andrew's life is consistently and constantly expanding in the direction of his deeply held dreams. His story isn't over yet, and neither is yours.